Was Ana Mendieta murdered by her husband, Carl Andre, or was everything an accident? Ana Mendieta died in September 1985 from falling out of her 34th floor New York City apartment window. Her husband, Carl Andre, was arrested in the days following under the suspicion of murder, though he was cleared of all charges 3 years later. There are so many unanswered questions that have created a legacy surrounding her life and death. Ana Mendieta was a Cuban-American artist who fled Cuba at age 12 during Fidel Castro's revolution. As a child refugee, Mendieta moved to Iowa, where she later attended university. In 1985, Mendieta married Carl Andre, an established minimalist sculptor. There was a 13-year age difference. Mendieta was more than just an artist. She was a powerful activist. She initiated several projects, including one that reconnected displaced Cubans with their relatives and another that strived to create safe environments for women. Ana Mendieta's work centered around themes of cultural identity, femininity, and challenging patriarchal norms through performance art, film, and photography. The main tool she utilized in her art was, in fact, her body. Blood was also a recurring symbol and material in her work, though it was not necessarily morbid. Her first major work, Moffat Building, had a strong focus on darkness and blood. The work shows a stream of blood flowing from under a door into street view. As people walk by, you begin to notice that no one takes action. Unfortunately, this feels like foreshadowing. The work was Mendieta's reaction to the brutal rape and murder of Sarah Ann Ottens, a student at the University of Iowa, whose case still remains unsolved. The case led to university students, including Mendieta, to feel unsafe and concerned about the indifference officials show. On September 8, 1985, Carl Andre and Ana Mendieta were home at their 34th floor apartment in New York City. Mendieta called her friend, Natalia Delgado, to let her know her plans for divorcing her husband, explaining how she knew he was cheating. After talking to a lawyer, she had begun collecting evidence. According to Delgado, she had managed to collect Andre's phone call transcripts. Although we're not exactly certain of what happened that night, we do know something happened between the couple. Andre has mentioned they had a fight over their success in the art world, though this statement changed multiple times. During the night, a doorman on the street below recollected hearing a woman scream no several times before a loud thud. Andre called 911 and was said to be distressed, claiming they had a fight, and after following Mendieta into the room, she jumped out of their window. When the police arrived, his statement had changed. He said he had been watching TV and only noticed she wasn't in the apartment when he went to go to bed. When confronted about changing these stories, it is said that Andre became very angry and started denying any of his previous statements. Upon inspection, police found furniture overturned in their bedroom and empty wine bottles. On top of this, their windowsill was abnormally high. So tall that under 5 foot Ana Mendieta would have needed some form of assistance to reach it. At this time, Andre began showing the police catalogues of his work and stating that Mendieta was jealous of his fame in the art world. He also made several calls to cancel his dinner plans, but never attempted to call his wife's family. Delgado called again. This time, Andre's lawyer answered and he told her what had happened that night. Delgado claims that the lawyer was sent by Andre to destroy any evidence of Mendieta filing for divorce. 3 years later, Carl Andre stood trial for second-degree murder. One side of the room was filled with supporters for Ana Mendieta, including her friends, relatives, and colleagues. The other side of the room was empty, as Andre requested his supporters do not attend. Some saw this as a way of protecting his ego, while others saw this as a way of gatekeeping information. Unfortunately, much of the defense was based on overt racism. To shift focus off of Andre's inconsistencies, they inflated Mendieta's Latina temper and alcohol problems. In a posthumous blood test, it was confirmed that Mendieta had consumed copious amounts of alcohol, but for some reason, Andre was never tested on the night. At the end of the trial, Andre was able to have all evidence and documents sealed, and he is the only person who is able to unseal them. This means the only publicly available information about the trial is the trial transcripts. Carl Andre and his lawyers insisted he was innocent, emphasizing his rank in the art world as a pioneer of minimalist sculpture. Their defense claimed the doorman, who heard screaming and a loud thud on the night, had mental health issues, which, in their words, made him an untrustworthy witness. Another side of their defense centered on Ana Mendieta's art, claiming her use of blood and soil displayed subconscious suicidal ideations. They continued their racism. claiming that the artist's interest in indigenous occult practices and beliefs equated to mental instability. From the very beginning, the prosecution was set on ruling out suicide or accidents. They explained that the windowsill was roughly at a man's chest height, and Mendieta was under 5 feet tall. There was no way she could climb up without some form of assistance, and she certainly could not have fallen on accident. On top of this, her friends claimed that she was severely scared of heights, and the idea that she would have climbed up on that windowsill was absurd. In the days following the incident, witnesses noticed scratches on Andre's face. However, he insisted that a gust of wind blew a door into him, injuring his face roughly a week prior to her death. The prosecution tried to use Mendieta's desire for divorce as a motive. However, the evidence she claimed to have found to her friend was never found. At the end of the trial, the world moved on. Carl Andre continued making art, exhibiting, and moving around Europe. The male artist has only acknowledged the death of Mendieta once, right before a series of major retrospectives in Europe. Once again, his story had changed, stating that he remembered Ana going to close the windows due to a sudden drop in temperature. Mind you, the data does not support this, where she climbed onto the windowsill and fell out. What do you think happened to Ana Mendieta?